arson story and a fatal weekend shooting in Columbia. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Reek.
And I'm Brittany Pieper. Today, one Columbia man is taking a new approach to fighting gun violence. KOMU 8's Shale Ramin is here with more on how he aims to help kids.
According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, since 2003, homicide rates in Missouri have increased 66% among 10 to 24-year-olds. I spoke to Marcus Buford this afternoon, and he talked to me about what his plans are to reach a young audience. Marcus Buford is hosting a toy drive, but not just any toy drive. Any kid who brings in a toy gun can exchange it for a new toy or a $5 gift card. Buford is also the executive director of Operation Kite Foundation. It aims to tutor kids and reconnect them with imprisoned parents. With all the violence in the news and holidays here, Buford has shifted his efforts.
It seems as though every time we turn around, there's something in the news, something happening in our schools, something happening in our communities in a negative way, and it's all associated with gun violence. So I think now is the proper time to address it and try and make some type of changes in a positive way.
Marcus Buford started working on gun violence awareness posters like this one about 2 years ago. He says he wants to talk to Columbia Public Schools about implementing them in the hallways. Buford says the loss of 3 close friends due to guns pushes him every day to raise awareness. He says it's important to make kids aware at a young age.
They tend to want to play with guns and cowboys and Indians, and in the African American community, the game of cowboys and Indians unfortunately progresses to the kid growing older and playing Bloods and Crips and actually taking lives. If we can try and contact the kid or intervene with the kid at a young age, then I think that would go a long way to curbing the violence that we see at an older age.
Kids can swap out their toy gun from today until Christmas. For more information on how to get into contact with Buford about the toy exchange, visit our website, KOMU.com. Executive Director Marcus Buford started Operation Kite. It helps kids connect with military and imprisoned parents.
Our Father who art in heaven. And my thought was, in my community, it's more like our Father who art in prison.
Kite, keeping in touch internally, allows kids to keep in touch with jailed family members through letters and photos. Letters inspired Buford to name the operation after a kite.
Inmates, when they want to communicate with each other, they will tell each other to fly me a kite.
The county jail marks the last place families see each other before being taken to prison. That's where Operation Kite comes into play. Buford drives kids to prisons every weekend. The program needs $1,300 per month to keep running, most of which comes from Buford's pocket. But every once in a while, he'll get a donation.
I am uniquely qualified to do this in that I've walked in each individual's shoes.
Buford was incarcerated for 3 years for a drug offense and says that experience helps him relate to the people in the operation.
I think this is his way of giving back to the community as well as showing that you can turn your life around.
If it involves children and doing something positive, then I'm down for it.
Buford's next project is gathering donations for Mother's Day. Shale Ramin, KOMU 8 News, Columbia.
We'll be going more. We'll be going more.
We'll be going more.
Going more to prison. Because of Operation Kite, Ziggy and her grandmother Mitzi Enlow can now take more trips to see Ziggy's dad in prison.
If we were able to provide visits for the loved ones who can't see the family members, that would be a plus in terms of encouraging the inmate to want to turn their life around.
The program provides supplies and rides to encourage kids to keep in touch with family members behind bars. Representative Penny Hubbard created a House bill similar to what Operation Kite does. It would grant transportation for kids to see in-prison parents once a month.
Not only is it to help the children in the community, it's also to help to rehabilitate and to get the prison population on point as well. We're doing some positive things.
But not all legislators agree.
How truly beneficial is taking the kids to see their incarcerated parents? Is that going to encourage that behavior? Is that going to be the behavior to the spot that we're saying, well, this is what my mom was like, this is what my dad's like, and this is what I'm going to become like?
Money for the pilot program would come from the corrections budget. Taxpayer money would go in, and about $100,000 of that would go towards the pilot program.
I believe that that bill is not a proper use or a good use of taxpayer funds.
Ziggy's 25-year-old father received a 12-year sentence for several charges, including a high-speed chase.
How many times can you judge a man for the same crime if they're paying their debt to society? Why take it out on their loved ones, especially the children?
If the bill passes, Buford hopes to work with Representative Hubbard in the future. Shale Ramin, KMU8 News, Jefferson City.
What if a type of technology that's used to stop poachers in Africa could be brought to Colombia to track gunfire? Good evening, I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Jim Reek. Thanks for joining us. It wouldn't necessarily be used in the same way, but the concept is the same. Tonight, we investigate the technology and if it would be useful here by traveling to Kansas City, where it's already being used. Chief Investigator Jamie Gray is here to explain.
Well, the technology is called ShotSpotter, and it means as soon as a gunshot is fired, police are given the exact coordinates, time, and how many rounds were fired, all of that within just a few minutes. KOMU8's Shale Ramin found one Columbia man determined to see ShotSpotter in Columbia. She joins us live from downtown Columbia now with more information, from costs to why some other cities have turned to ShotSpotter.
Jamie, according to ShotSpotter, about 80% of gunfire goes unreported. For context, that would be the equivalent to 1 out of 4 fires going unreported. One Columbia man feels ShotSpotter should be overlooking the city of Columbia. So I went down to Kansas City to sit down one-on-one with a police sergeant to figure out how exactly ShotSpotter works.
It's basically like having an alarm. It's like a gunshot alarm.
A gunshot alarm that can pick up gunshots using sensors made up of an acoustic network.
Different sensors that can hear it and kind of do its best to pinpoint where that's at, and it says, hey, gunshot went off. Sends that information to ShotSpotter Dispatch Center, where they actually have trained people who have gone through hours and hours of training to be able to differentiate, understand the difference between, no, that's a backfire, no, that's a gunshot.
It's called ShotSpotter. As soon as the company dispatch center confirms gunfire, the police can be out the door with the exact coordinates in minutes.
Finding that crime scene quickly and providing a police response there, you know, within minutes that's a huge benefit.
They can pinpoint if one or more guns were fired. Columbia resident Marcus Buford, a longtime advocate of gun violence awareness, would like to see ShotSpotter overlooking the streets of Columbia.
There are several different hot spots, if you will, in the city that could probably use that technology. We're just sitting a few feet from an incident that happened less than 2 years ago where 3 people were injured due to gun violence here in downtown.
But it can be expensive. So where does this funding come from? I spoke to the CEO of ShotSpotter, and he said if a sensor is here and another one is here, that square mile can cost anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000.
Some people don't like the police and in fact don't call them. This helps us at least get our resources out there to where we can help them even if they don't call us.
Buford says he wants to see more being done to help others avoid what he experienced in the past.
Since growing up as a kid, I lost several friends and even family members due to gun violence, given the nature of the violence that we've experienced lately, that it's imperative that we act in a way that brings a positive change to the community. And
I talked to the Columbia Police Department and asked if they would consider implementing ShotSpotter right here in Columbia, and they said that decision would be left up to their command unit. I also reached out to the city to see if they had a comment on the matter, but they were unavailable. Reporting live in downtown Columbia, Shale Ramin, KMU8 News.